G'day, hi, and welcome. We're ready for that, were you? All right, TGIF, toes going first. Also, thank God it's Friday. Cheers. I got half a finger crown in there. And it tastes like it. Yep. Not bad. Not bad. I'll have one of those every Friday, I think. That's what I'm going to do. Just a little sip. Take me like 10 years to finish a bottle doing that, but what I'll probably do is drink that bottle down to about half, and then just leave it. Like the Kraken, like I got about that much in the Kraken left, and it's like my cousin. Well, I guess I could call him a kind of a cousin. Okay, it would be my brother's wife's uncle, third cousin, fifth cousin. Like I whatever. Everybody's freaking related to me. I bet you half of you guys watching are freaking related to me. You don't even know it. Yeah, like I'm that guy, and how they like you get these anthropologists and archaeologists and stuff like that, and they discover like a hominid, and they're like, well, this hominid traces to here and here and here, and then it's like, okay, you're gonna find Lucy, and then right beside her, yeah, we're first cousins. I tell you, I'm related to everybody. But anyway, yeah, so he bought me that bottle of Crown as a Christmas gift there, but he bought me the Kraken last year. And I was like trying to have a little bit each night, like a half a finger each night, and I was just like, I can't do that. It's not a me thing to do, right? Maybe if I was 20, if it was 20, I'd down those in 15 minutes, but that's when you're young and stupid, you don't drink. Like I now only have a drink for like pleasure, where it's like I don't want to get drunk at all. I hate getting drunk. I can't tolerate the hangovers anymore. I'm at that age, right? But yeah, so every Friday I'll have a little bit, just a little bit mixed in with my Pepsi. Rained like crazy last night. We got a Chinook coming in. It's not global warming. It's just your typical Indian winter, as they call it. Like Chinook comes in. And then right behind that's going to be like an Arctic blast over here that's going to probably flash freeze everything. So hopefully it's not too well. My poor client, she has to drive to Toronto tomorrow. That's like 6 hours from here. So hopefully the rain lets up by that time. But I'll show you where I'm at with my region strategies. So you can see I made a dent on that. I started this one here. It's actually, this book is signed by the author. Here we go to right there. It's going to be a spy book. I didn't know what it was about, but it's going to be a spy book. Kind of. I was curious what was going to be in this one. Right? I don't know if I'm going to like it or not, but we'll see. Of course, I started in on the Bible yesterday. My journey of 1,500 pages. This one is crazy. This one is crazy. I like it. It's a tough follow. It is a tough follow. It's a lot of characters. It's a bit violent. Not as violent as I thought it was going to be. So it's not like full Space Marine crazy, but there is violence in it. Following the story, like your brain's going to explode if you try to follow the story. Like if you can't read that one fast. You have to stop and go over a few things again. It's like, okay, what's going on here? And then there's a lot of, okay, here's the guy, he's arguing with the other guy kind of thing, and they're planning an attack on the other guy and that kind of stuff. And then it's like, it's such and such as this, and then 30 years ago. It tells you the backdrop of each character. It's like, it's kind of neat how he's done it. Like, it's really good. It's really good so far. So, I'm going over like books and stuff like that. You guys know I'm doing the book thing. This is going to be the next main book up. And then after that, this is going to be the main book. So I'm kind of like trying to burn the candle at both ends. So what's going to happen is... Hey, come on. Okay. Got this one and this one. These are going to be like the B books. These are going to be like the A books. But I got to finish that book. But I have, like I say, that other book coming in. My aunt ordered up for the library for me. I finished this book. Everybody kind of says the same thing about this book, and now I found a little bit more out about the other two books, such as they're kind of like this book where it's not really truly a trilogy. It's like three standalone books based on the same characters. So I don't know if I'm going to get those other books. I still don't know if I'm going to get rid of this book or not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my aunt if she wants to read it and decide whether she wants to bring the other two books in to the library, and I'll donate this one to the library. But this is how many books have I read so far? Well, I gave up on one just because it was just like it was a tabletop book with the 50 like classic cars or whatever. I kind of gave up on that one. I made it about halfway through, and I was just like, well, I'm not really. I enjoyed it, but I'm just like, okay, like half these cars I already know everything about, like, you know what I mean? I finished the Elvis one the other day. I was happy about that. So I'm up to like about 2 or 3 books that I've finished. This is the first novel I finished in a long time, and then the last book, which I don't know what I'm assuming it's going to be a murder mystery, and it's this one. Now, what did I pay for these books? Absolutely nothing. And I'm going to have a whole bunch of movies coming up. My aunt's like, yeah, I got the movies again. So a little sword stuck in a bonsai tree. Isn't that cool? And the description on the back, the author and his cat saying, you want to know what's in here? Buy the damn book. Yeah, so it's I'm excited about that. I don't know what that's the cover, I guess. Okay, it has the description in here. Okay, yeah. Let's see if there's anything on the back. Nothing on the back. That's the gas. I'm a sucker for a good cover. I am, and I think I like that. It kind of has a Stephen Kingish kind of appeal to it, doesn't it? But yeah, that's going to be a main book, but that's going to be like it's going to go this book, and then that book. And I want to get down to a point where I'm only reading one book at a time, but I got to get the Bible out of the way. I've got to get all these out of the way. These were free books. And the next book up, this one's a lot of people recommend this one. So I can't tell you exactly what it's about because I don't do the spoilers for myself. But there's 7 books there, or 6 books there. Well, 7 if you add up the one I just read. And, 5 books there, and then got the other one there. And that little one, I'm hoping I go through that little one fast so I can just keep one on like 3 books at a time. So it'll be the Bible is like my one. I don't care. That's like 1,500 pages right there. So it's 12 to 1,500 pages. So that, I don't care if it takes me 5 years to read it. I'm going to try to get it, put a push on it. Fridays, okay, here's what my Fridays are like now. Well, I'm, like on my, kind of winter hiatus, aka unemployed. But I've got a few little, for the hall, my aunt's going to call me to shovel that off, like the steps off and stuff like that. You get paid $25 a shot. So it's like basically 3 entrances. 1, 2, 3 or 4 entrances. I think it's only 3 entrances. Is it 3 entrances? No, it's 4. So shovel the 4 entrances, $25. Take me probably about half an hour. I'm in. Right? So she'll call me first. And then Monday, I'm going to see, because it's Christmas next week, I'm going to see if I can get that box of DVDs and I can start watching one a night like I did last winter. And I got a whole bunch of DVDs that I got for free last year, like 200 or 300, right? And I watched them all. Believe it or not, I watched them all throughout the winter. I watched like 2 movies a night kind of thing. And so a lot of them are probably not going to keep. You know what I mean? I'm just going to donate them to the thrift shop so they can sell them, right? And stuff like that. And then I got this new box of DVDs. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to go through the box of books there. I'll buy a couple of books there, but I'm going to do another round through the library books out in the neighboring town on Wednesday. When I go to check up on the place, I'm going to borrow my dad's truck. I'm going to drop off a bunch of pop bottles out in the neighboring town. Like, I mean, bags of pop bottles. I've been hoarding them since my car broke down. I get rid of those. I'm stop at the library. I think I grabbed all the books. Like, there's probably about 500 books that are free to take, right? But most of them, I went through them fast enough, or slow enough to kind of see what I liked. And most of them were either murder mysteries or romance novels. And like, there's a whole set of romance novels there. Like, there's like 11 book series there or something like that. And I'm just like, it's too bad because I'm not into that. And I'm not really into the murder mystery thing. But on the other hand, I'd like to build up a good book collection. My goal is to read get through these books, get through the book, other 3 books at the library that I want to take out. Out of the entire library, that's what was like really appealing to me. For like I want to read this, and then everything from there would be like, maybe I'll read this over the summer or something like that. And there was like one Stephen King book there. I think it's one of his more recent ones. I don't know. I'll have to look at the title. And I know Stephen King books are going to be good, but the thing is like okay, the Game of Thrones books. I love those covers, especially the one with the golden salad on it there. That one looks really cool. But I'm like, because there's a TV series, I think I'd rather watch the TV show. You know, I've never watched a single episode of Game of Thrones. But if the box set of books, which if you buy it new, you're looking at like $200 or something like that, $300, maybe $500 to get all 5 books, right? But you can find them used as a whole set for like $20, or something. So if I came across the set, I'd probably buy it. There's possibly 2 books at the thrift shop that I might buy, but there's about 100 books there. There's a lot of Westerns there. And I started thinking, okay, yes, I want sci-fi and stuff like that. But maybe I need to round myself out because, like, for example, if I find Lonesome Dove, I'm going to get it. You know what I mean? I definitely want to get Moby Dick. I'm still looking at, like, researching books that I would like to buy. And, you can go into a lot of these, like, Chapters, Barnes & Noble, all these places, right? And you could buy the latest and greatest book, which is going to be like $40 to $60, like for a hardcover book, right? And that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, taking a gamble on something that you may or may not like. But somebody has to spend the money to keep these authors working, right? And it supports the arts. It supports the arts, But you can get like the paperbacks on most things between $15 and $25, right? Depending on the writer, whatever. But then there's like the kind of, they're still in print, but they're slightly older books, bargain books, $10 and under. And then you get the even super duper bargain books for $5 and under. And there was one book, it's like super, super popular. Everybody just absolutely loves it. Now we got $2.99. I'm like, so if you went into a store with $100, you could potentially come out with like a couple of dozen books, you know what I mean? If you just go that, and it doesn't mean you're going to get bad books, and that's the whole thing. It's kind of like violins. When I was trying to figure out, and I talked to so many luthiers and so on, I was like, how do you price a violin? And they give you this whole rundown. So I said, yeah, but how do you decide whether this violin is worth $300 or $3,000? And they're like, well, it's subjective. In other words, it's whatever you think it's worth. Okay, or what someone's willing to pay, right? Well, I think books are the same. The price of the book does not dictate the quality of the read, right? And for example, this book was free. It was a good book. This book I got out of the library for free. It's a better book, right? To me. Maybe not to you, to me. This book was also free. I'm only like 10 pages in or something like that. Seems like it's going to be good, but will it be better than the other books? I don't know. Maybe it'll be just so different because, how do you compare a spy book to a post-apocalyptic book to a futuristic sci-fi book, right? Uh, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, how do you measure? Like, how do you square that peg, right? Uh, so I think I'm going to take another run at the library over there because I probably won't be able to get into the thrift shop probably till the new year anyway. But there was a cover of a book in there that came up of a book that was a very must-read kind of book, according to the people that had bought it. And I'm like, if they have the set there, I'll put, like, it's just I didn't have time to go through the books the way I wanted last time. So I barely glanced through them. You know what I mean? I was in there for maybe 10 minutes, so I need to like pull all the books out. Maybe 100 and maybe 200 books in there. Most of them are all like 2 crates, 3 crates, or whatever. I'm not going to bother with the romance section. They do have it sort of sorted out, and it's 5 books for $10, right? So I'm like, okay, that's a steal and a half, especially if you get big honking books that are, really, really good. So I'm going to build up my book collection to be read, but I don't want to get ridiculous. I don't want to have like 500 books to be read, because that's going to take me a lifetime, right? So that's why I'm picky about what I'm going to take. But if it's like, for example, The Count of Monte Cristo, if it wasn't in French, I definitely would have taken that. I know the story, so it wouldn't be a priority read. But I know, look, I haven't read the book, but 10 out of 10, I already highly recommend it. Why? Because I know the story, and the story's fantastic. If the movie was as good as the movie was, and everybody says the book's better, like, you know what I mean? Just get the book. Like it's a no-brainer. Moby Dick. There's a book I'm going to buy. Why? It's just what version of it am I going to buy? Like I want a nice. To me, there's something about that book, that story. That story is based on the Essex, right? Which was a true story, right? And it was about a whaling ship that there was cannibalism, whatever. And the theory is that they were attacked by a gigantic whale. Uh, but nobody believed them, right? Because it was like, no, well, that's preposterous. That doesn't happen. But nature's stranger than fiction sometimes, right? Um, and so the book was believed to be based on that. Maybe it was, the author took liberties to change the story around for more entertaining things. But in general, that's what it was. There's a book that I really want to get. I love stuff about shipwrecks and like old sailing tall ships and stuff like that. There's a book called the Wager. There's going to be a Leonardo DiCaprio movie coming out on it. But I like the story. It's like it's something that I would really like to read. You know, so there's about 3 other books in the library that again the library there doesn't have like it had more books before because libraries are getting changed to be less books and more other things. Like you can get games there, you can get books there, you can get VR goggles. You can actually literally not rent but borrow VR goggles. Yeah. Not interested in that at all. Like Google Glass is the watch thing, VR gong. Not really. Like I'm not saying I never use it. Like if you're at home and you were doing video games, yeah, it'd be cool to try it, but I wouldn't want to have that thing on my head 24/7. You know what I mean? I think that's just a little too close to the radiation. You know what I'm saying? But that said, yeah, I think I'm going to expand the horizons. I'll take chances on books I wouldn't like. I love Western movies, right? I really love Western movies. Like like Tombstone has got to be my favorite Western of all time. I used to like all the old Clint Eastwood movies too. You know, Good, the Bad, the Ugly, uh, Hang 'Em High, all those ones. Yeah, I like that stuff, right? There's been what was it, 10 o'clock to Zuma or something like that. That one was pretty good. But I still think Tombstone was like the cast in there. The guy that played basically, well, Val Kilmer and yeah, Johnny, the guy that plays that Johnny, the gunslinger, but these were character like the movie. Okay, the movie's not 100% accurate or true, but it is loosely based on real life events that happened with real life characters, Wyatt Earp and stuff like that. Kurt Russell was fantastic in it. Sam, what's called the guy with the really deep voice there? Sam, what the hell is his name? Anyway, I love that guy. That guy's been like 75 years old for like his entire life. He's like Keith Richards. Like he's always been the old guy, but the really cool old guy. Excellent movie. Excellent movie. So yeah, like I would definitely read about something like that. And like I talked about the S.E. Hinton books, with the Outsiders and stuff like that. But I've already read those books, right? So they would be like B books to get, like where if I'm going to have a stock of books, remember the winter's long in Canada, but it's not that long. Like once I start working again, my book reading is going to go down to like a couple of pages a night. But I was listening to one girl and she made a good point. She goes, look, if you just read 10 pages a night, that's 3,600 pages a year. Sorry, 3,650 pages a year. That's probably 10 to 12 books a year. You know what I mean? I read about double that, it seems. With 3 books on the go, I might put more push. I might get down to where I do only 2 books at a time just to, kind of go through the books quicker. What I will probably do with the book that my aunt ordered up, again, when's it going to get there? It could be 6 months before we see it, whatever. But if she gets that into the library for me, that book will take priority over pretty much all the other books except for the Bible, right? So, because I got to get through that within a lifetime, right? So, I mean, I've read parts of my mom's Bible before, but it's just I never read it cover to cover, and it's just something I want to do, just to put that feather in my cap. But I'm not going to be sitting here all day just reading. For example, my song Pinto, I did the vocal last night. And I'm going to listen to it again, and I'm going to see if I'm going to go with that or not. And I got to play around with it. Because a lot of times, like, you record it, and until you do the mix down and start tweaking things in the EQ and really, really get things to pop and contrast, and you get your frequencies where they need to be, the song really sweetens up when you do. And maybe what I did was good enough, but maybe I have to do another vocal run on it. I don't know how many takes I did yesterday, maybe about 10 takes. And I know that the scream at the end, it's like that has to pop out, because if it doesn't pop out, it's like, because I don't know if I could do it again. It's just, it was like basically Rob Halford, the spirit of Rob Halford possessed me on that last note. And I was just like, fuck yeah, that's how you do it. Like, oh yeah, you got like any metalhead that's going to hear that, you're going to go like, holy shit, Reg, that was cool. And I know to switch topics here. And it's Friday. It's the Friday topic, right? Yeah, maybe there's a new series for me, the Friday Chat. I don't know if I can commit to it, right? Yeah, like a little fireside kind of, Friday fireside. Yeah, but like when you're singing a song and you come up to a metal scream, depending on what the song is. The problem with what singers do, and I'm guilty, everybody's guilty, is you do the same scream over and over again. So I'm always trying to come up with a different type of scream. And on, like, for example, even if it wasn't my best song ever, I really like the song from a songwriter's point of view, but Crystal Eyes, the scream at the end, it sounds really ugly. It is supposed to sound really ugly if you understand what the song's about, right? This song, it's actually a kind of a positive song, so the scream at the end is gonna, like, it's a very victorious kind of song, right? Now, when I do the next song, which is going to be called Tomahawk, that song is going to be, it's going to have opera in it. It's going to have, it's going to be a black metal song, but it's going to have opera in it. And it's all, so you're going to hear some really, really cool things that I'm going to do, like on the sustained notes. But there's also going to be like the main, like, build up to this one word called tomahawk, right? And when I scream that out, it's going to be like you're gonna be like, oh dear God, that's horrendous. You're like, oh, but it's so good, you know. Like I've already practiced it a few times. It's just like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just long, long note, right? And but it has to fit what you're trying to convey in the song, you know. So you can't just do the same yeah every time. You got to do something a little different, right? And that's just part of creativity. That's what you call art. I agree with Marty Freeman on that. Like when you do a note, okay, that's playing, that's shredding. That's art. You know what I mean? Uh, and he explained it so subtly on the guitar. It was something like he did something like that, and he used like four notes. He just did like four notes over and over again. And he goes, "That's playing." And just slight bend on one at the end. That's art. You know, and he was so correct because it's little nuances like that like, and sometimes you can't replicate this stuff. It's like, and I hate it when you do that when you do something you can't replicate because it's just like, how do I do that again? I can't. And you try and you try and try, and it usually comes out to like some weird harmonic or whatever. I noticed this when I was playing live in my 1995 gig with my band Syndicate. There was a couple of notes that I did. There was one there. It was just this high pitched squeal thing that I did, and to the life of me, I'm like, how the fuck did I do that? It was so cool, you know. But it was just it like like it was kind of like it was crazy. It was crazy how I did it, and it's like you can't duplicate that, right? So I do like stuff like that too. That come in as a surprise, but I also like predictability too. You know, so that you can redo it. The guitar solo, I think you're gonna like the guitar solo. The bass player's gonna like the bass. The drums, people are gonna critique the drums. Like, you need a better drummer. I'll tell them that. I'll tell them that. But I'm not bad. It's not bad. Like the drums are not bad. They're relatively tight. You know, like I mean, yes, they can be tighter. They're not time aligned. I mean, I don't have that kind of precision on that thing to time align stuff. Like you can time align the digital drums on there. Good luck with that. I don't know any human being that's ever figured out the BR 1200 drums. You can read the manual 15 times. I've read that manual so many bloody times, and I can't get it. It was cheaper, easier, and quicker to learn how to play drums than it is to figure that out. You know, yeah. So is what it is. But yeah, so that song will be coming up probably next week. Probably won't get too much of it done. I'm gonna focus on more the arrangement, which I'll be working on today because like the way my week go, like my day goes down here. It's like I get down here, I do a bunch of blabbing and whatever. And if I overdo it on the videos and I do 2 hours worth of videos or whatever, then it shortens up my what else I got to do. So I never get everything done every time I come down here, but I get most of the things done. Like for example, I dragged the my recycling bin up home so I could start cleaning out the garage and the basement up home. I've been past couple of days been slowly rearranging. You know, spending 10 minutes every morning just cleaning up the basement, right? Because between me moving down here now, everything's upside down, right? So I want to clean that up, go through things. Good news, I found my freaking. Remember, my traps needed new triggers and stuff. Yeah, I found them all. I knew I bought some, and I found everything. So I gotta redo those. I was gonna bring that back down today, but I was literally with the wind out there. It's like I don't want stuff blowing out of the box and I'm losing it. So I'll bring that maybe tomorrow, or well, it depends because I do got to work a little bit tomorrow. It's gonna be a quick day, but yeah, and then whatever I get done. Today I want to do a real like readathon today. Fridays are going to be my readathon days where I read more than what I normally do. I want to spend at least 2 hours today reading, especially to get through all those books, right? So I'll spend an hour between half an hour on the Bible, half an hour on the book number two, and then on book number one, I will probably try to spend a full hour on that, which will get me between 40 and 60 pages read. So that's a lot. So, that's a lot. So, I mean, I'm only going to be able to do this until I go back to work, right? So the idea is to get through as many books as possible. And then after this batch of books, it's going to be one book at a time. You know what I mean? Maybe two, you know? So, like the Bible, that might take me, like, depends on how much time I put reading in it. But if I put a half an hour a day on it, maybe I can read 20 pages a day. Maybe it's going to be two. I mean, that's a very large book, and the print is small. You know what I mean? And it's kind of one of those things where it's like in the summertime, I'm too busy. You know what I mean? Like as soon as the weather's nice enough, I'm going to be out there with a chainsaw. I'm going to be doing a lot of physical stuff, right? And when you get into that physical mode, to sit down and just relax and you know read and stuff like that, it just you're too antsy. You just can't, you can't just flick it like a switch. Although you could say I've been reading for about a month now, back into reading, and my brain is starting to get conditioned that when I sit down in this chair and I grab the book, no distractions, open the book, the world falls away, and I'm in the book, right? And that's good. So I'm not like looking up and oh, what time is it? And I'm not doing that. I'm just getting her done. You know what I mean? And I'm enjoying it. And I'm also thinking about it another way too. Is that like as I'm cleaning out this my stuff, getting rid, like I got a bunch of boxes to go to the to just go. As I go through my stuff and I get rid of stuff and I condense things down and all that. At some point, I'm going to be like done. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to be done everything in here. Okay, I'm going to be done everything out there. Okay, it might take 3 years, it might not. It depends on how much time I can spend. Like knocking down trees and stuff like that during the summer. If I've been working all day with the chainsaw, I'm not going to come home and do more. But sometimes when my adrenaline's going, I just, like, okay, I'll make a couple of branches. I'll do this, do that. Next year, I do plan on, like it's going to be the Garden of Eden in front of this house. I told my one of my client Nicole's, who her yard is just like people stopped. It's one of the most extravagant flower gardens around here. Like I got a couple of clients that have like really extravagant flower beds, right? But I'm kind of more of a plant it, leave it kind of guy. So I'm gonna have flowers. I'm gonna have all this stuff. I'm gonna have my chickens, whatever. Gonna have my gardening stuff. A lot of food growing, whatever. Gonna build my raised beds. I got the materials. I mean, I got the dilapidated barns, and there's like, not only can I build all my bookshelves out of it if I want, I can build raised beds out of it. So, like the visions I have down here, like, am I gonna live long enough to like? I need 10 of me, 10 clones of me to do everything I want to do in my life. Even then, I probably wouldn't be enough. I probably like it's just when I get in a motivated thing, the biggest thing I have to do with myself is to slow down and not take on too much at once, or you just get overwhelmed and nothing gets done, right? But I'm also one of those guys that procrastinates, and then bang, I build Rome in a day, and then I'm good for the year. So what I try to do is like 3 goals a day, every day. I know there's that saying, I don't have any goals, why limit myself? Okay, yeah, but have small baby steps. The people that are always like depressed and sad and, overwhelmed and have full of anxiety, a lot of that comes from, number one, comes from diet. Number two, it comes from overwhelming yourself with stuff, letting things get out of control. So the thing is when you organize everything, it's a lot easier to not get out of control. But when things get out of control, it takes a long time to pull things back. So you don't overthink it. Just start somewhere. If you could spend a half an hour a day just doing stuff for yourself, just a half an hour a day, doesn't matter what, 3 things, and you get that done, maybe you get a fourth thing done. You'll feel accomplished all the time, all the time. And it could be simple things like getting the freaking dishes done. Guys, I am so sick of doing dishes. Like I do dishes every night at home, but everybody chips in on that. So it's like, like it's one of those things that like it took me what almost 2 months to do all those dishes off, and half of those dishes I'm probably going to get rid of. To be honest with you, like it's just, like I kept the sets that I liked and what have you, but I'm also like I don't know, man. Like, do I really need those? Yeah, they look good. I mean, they look good, but do I really need those like pots on the counter? Yeah, those jars on the counter. Like okay, maybe I'm gonna get rid of those. Like I'm never gonna put anything in it. There's too many, too many mice. I'm not gonna put sugar and salt and whatever flour in there. I just not gonna. It looks good, but it looks better when it's gone. You know what I mean? I've got the microwave. I've got the tea kettle. That's good enough. Half the pots and pans I have are probably, like. But next year I'm probably gonna be cooking down here a little bit more. Like I got I got a thing of margarine in there, not actual butter, but margarine. I call it butter, Freudian slip, whatever. But yeah, I bought that just so when my nephew comes down, him and I can have popcorn together, not sit there try popcorn, choking on try popcorn, right? Well, like my candles, all these candles, and I'm going to burn some of them up as much as I can. That box of candles, right? I'm going to keep those for the coldest months, and then maybe I find a couple other nicer candle holders. Well, next year when I have my yard sale, it's going to be a lot of neat things that I'm going to sell. Like my moose leg lamp. I don't know if I can get rid of that. I got to rewire it, but this antique lamp, I still gotta check to see if that thing works or not. It definitely needs new wiring for sure. But that one, I like that one. I really like that one. It's with the nautical theme on it, the sailboats and the twizzled steel, twizzled iron. That thing's nice. But that's a nice little fun project, and maybe I sell it for $200 or something as an antique. It'll do until I can get rid of this. Like this here, I could rewire it, but like I have a hunch I'm gonna find another lamp before I do that. But right now I've got like 5 tall lamps to fix, right? And well, I'm gonna get to it soon, but I'm gonna have to organize my day. Uh, Starting in the new year, where okay, Monday I work on my tools, my equipment. Okay, but like I'm still like sorting things out. I'm almost done all the sorting. Once I got all my stuff sorted out, then okay, then I work on my tools. Tuesday, okay, I paint for an hour, do my videos every day, start working on songs, and at least once a week, I want to practice my set list at least once a week, so that I'm ready for gigging. Might not, like I'd like to get at least one gig per month throughout the winter. Just because there's, playing live is what I live for, right? But you gotta divide up your time. But I gotta fix my tools. You know, so I'm not gonna be doing any yard work throughout the winter. But in the spring, I want everything ready to go. I gotta fix my whippersnipper. I think it's just probably clogged. That's what I think. I mean, that thing's worked hard. Uh, you know, uh, Maybe I have a wood project. The basement, for example, I would like to get the basement to a point where I can do stuff down there. Uh, like a bit of woodworking or something like that. Nothing that's gonna like be major, but if I got a little project and it's too cold to work outside, I'd like to be able to work in the basement. Like whatever. So I still got a little bit more cleanup to do down there. But it's kind of a bit of a hurry up and wait because I got to get that garbage bin empty so I can put more garbage in to clear out the woodshed so that I can maybe bring all that metal out and get, organizing in there. Once that's organized and the barns and the stable is organized, I mean, like, once those things are cleaned out, they're cleaned out for life. Yeah, no more junk is going in there. And then, of course, I want to help my dad clean out the woodshed because I mean that got really packed with my brother's stuff in there, and we're gonna have to go through it. Maybe a box at a time. Go through it. Do you really want to keep this? You really want to get? Here's what you can donate. Here's what you can throw out. Here's what you can burn. You know what I mean? Uh, Whatever it is. Whatever it is. But the idea is to keep everything moving in such a manner where when you get rid of stuff. And there's a lot of stuff I got to get rid of, like like I'd like to get rid of some of my paintings so I can, make new paintings and whatever. Like I want to do all that. Like I do want to get stuff that moves. Like with the lamps, for example. When I find another set of lamps for free that are really nice, okay, well maybe I get rid of the other lamps. You know what I mean? If I get a better tall lamp, like some of these antique lamps or antique looking ish lamps, I would like to fix them up, and maybe I put them up for sale. Maybe I just can't sell them at all. Okay, well scrap their I'll scrap them. Whatever. Stuff like that. Except for the speed jelly bean lamp, that one I keep forever. That one's just too cool. That one's just too cool. I love that lamp. It's such an aesthetic. It goes with my marble table look. Uh, and like some of the stuff, like for example, if I get let's say I try to sell the antique lamp and I just can't sell it, but I'm not gonna throw it out. I'd give it to a man and she could maybe sell it in her antique shop. She'd probably take something like she'd love that for sure. Um, my moose leg lamp, I got that from my buddy. If I get it functioning, I don't know. I think it's hilarious. I really do. Maybe the moose didn't, because there's a moose out there walking around without a foot. Hopefully got eaten. But like my old, for example, the things I built, my woodworking and stuff like that, I'm gonna keep that little well lamp in the basement. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that because that was my grandmother's. But the cognac bottle could probably go. Like it's cool to have it, but I probably will never drink cognac. It's just, it's neat to have, but that's $2 I can make. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at things. It's just like, yeah, the lamp, the oil lamps. So those I'm going to keep for sure. I'd like to get a few more and fix up these old antique ones a bit more because, well, they're not only were they my grandmother and grandfather's, uh, they're antiques. They're neat. You can never have enough of those. Uh, like the plants, the cactuses. Maybe I sell off a couple of those for like $2, $5 each, whatever. Next year, if they're still alive. I haven't. It's been a couple of months since I watered them. Come to think of it, but they seem like they're still alive. Okay, okay, we'll go with that. So I do have more stuff that I got to just make the decision whether I'm going to keep it, get rid of it, whatever. Like like there's some stuff it doesn't matter if I hang on to it or not. Like it's whatever. But I don't like clutter, and at some point you end up with clutter. But if you consider all the stuff I've thrown out, like I've thrown out 11 full, probably packed up to about 200 pounds each, between the recycling and the garbage bins. Plus, I probably burnt, like 10 pickup truckloads worth of stuff. And then all that scrap metal I'm going to get rid of is probably going to be about 4 tons of scrap metal that I'll be getting rid of in the spring. Well, I was hoping to get it out before the winter, which would have been nice, but oh well. You start doing that, you clean up things, and man, you feel good about it. You feel so good about it. So again, don't overthink it. Just start somewhere. Just grab something, especially paper. I find myself going through paper all the time. Okay, here's just a stack of just paper of stuff, and just okay, don't eat it, don't eat it. Some stuff you have to hang on to. I get that, like such as like signed signatures of bills of sales of people that you sold trailers to that didn't put in their name, end up could possibly send you to jail for some sort of crazy whatever. Who knows? Um, but anyway, yeah, no, I haven't heard any more on that. So hopefully that's the end of it, or they're gonna arrest me like Christmas Eve or something like that. I don't know. It's like yeah, you're up for like a murder charge. My hunch is somebody committed suicide in the trailer. That's what I think has happened, because they won't tell you anything because it's under investigation. But I guess what they were trying to figure out, when I start adding up all the, the conversations with the cops, and the three investigators that are on it. One of them was like a mental crisis, investigator. So it's okay. Well, if it was a homicide investigator, that's one thing. But a mental crisis, well, that's that's what that is. So my hunch is that they found somebody either probably suicided or OD'd or something like that in the trailer. And when I told the cop the name of the guy that I sold it to, it seemed like it was like, yeah, no, that's good. And it gave him the date time. Yeah, that's good. It's good. It's kind of like he already knew. So what does that say? Like maybe the guy offed himself. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's just okay. Abandoned trailer. Okay, so yeah. Okay, we'll just get rid of it, and that's the end of it. I hope that's all it is. Because hopefully nobody got hurt. But considering the world we live in right now, a lot of people in crisis, especially this time of year, right? The worst time of year for a lot of people. It's 1 in 4 people. 1 in 4 people suffer. I was watching. Switch topics again. Like I follow different bands and stuff like that. And I was watching a band called Future Palace. Now I don't like every one of their songs, but overall I like them. And they're kind of a newer band, and they're interesting. They have no bass player. I'd love to see them get a real bass player though. But it's just the three of them: the drums, the singer, uh, and stuff like that. And I was listening to like they're playing at Hellfest or whatever, and they have a couple of songs that are really good. It's very melancholy, right? Um, and she was saying like like I suffer from mental, like from depression and stuff like that. And I never believed I could be here on the stage. So thank you so much, and thank you guys for making this happen for us and all that. And it's like, okay, that takes a lot for somebody that has that kind of problem. You know what I mean? Like, count yourself lucky if you don't, right? And I'm listening to them, and it's like, okay, they play excellent. The guitar player, he has like one of the Elite Two guitar 7 string that I just absolutely want so bad, but it's like a $5,000 guitar, like, right? It's crazy, but I love that guitar. But anyway, they're up there and they're doing it. I'm just like, people have to function, and I'm sure everybody knows somebody that's not doing well, or that has to live with mental health issues and stuff like that. I know people, like I know people, and it's I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, and it explains a lot of the world that we're living in. You know what I mean? But the thing is you can't really do anything for them. It's all on them how they manage it and whatever. And the thing is that people like me are the other opposite end of the scale, and I'm the fortunate one, where it's like I'm just happy in my own head, like I'm just completely like I'm like Odie and Garfield. I'm like Odie, they're just stupid happy all the time, right? I sit back and laugh at the chaos of it all, just because there's well, what do you get? I'm like a lot like my grandmother, and I said, oh well, what can you do? It's like world's going to hell in a handbasket. Oh well, what can you do? And it's true. Like, what can you do, right? Well, what you can do is start to declutter your life. You can take on hobbies that are manageable. One thing about reading is that it's very manageable. Reading has also been proven to kind of relax you. Now, mind you, a lot of people like, and it unfortunately it's in all the food we eat. Is there's so much sugar and everything? I've been, believe it or not, trying to lower my sugar intake as much as possible, because especially the way my sister-in-law cooks there, like I mean, like we have a lot of pastas and stuff. There's a lot of starch in there and stuff like that. So I probably put on a few pounds, in the last past 2 months. But most of that is going to be from sugar. So I try to limit my sugar, right? I know I'm bad. I have the Pepsi, right? I'll have two today. Now I'm down to like one Pepsi a day. It's what I can afford. Probably in January, it'll be like one Pepsi a week or maybe two Pepsis a week. Just because I'll be too poor to be able to buy it on a daily basis. It's just my bad habit. It's my habit, right? So I'm going to start to try to switch over to tea in the new year when I'm down here. So I'm drinking tea all day. Which the problem though is when you drink tea all day, there's like, hey, how's it going? Oh, I feel great. It's like it just saps all the energy from you. It's just like you're like so calm and relaxed. It's like they check you for a pulse. Like I remember one time that I forget what it was for. The doctor was like, I'm like, what's wrong? She said, I can't find your pulse. And she says, like, you are the calmest person I've ever seen on the planet. She goes, like, literally, she goes, your pulse, and she goes, you're healthy as an ox, whatever. Once she found herself, yeah, like, all the numbers were normal. But she's like, you're just so freaking calm. And my mom used to get mad at me for that. She's like, how can you be so calm? You know, like, we'd be driving along, and something happened, it'd be like nearly a car accident, like near death, and I'd be sitting there, oh, okay, cool. You know, like, just super, super calm. You know, just like cool as a cucumber. And my mom would be like freaking out. Be driving. I was like, okay, well, don't worry about it, it's done. But how many? But when you nearly died, I'll be like, yeah, well, we're good. You know, just how can you be so calm? You know, like, oh, I miss my mom. Oh yeah. But it's I am like that. Like I have a calmness about me, even when I'm doing like the most batshit hyper energy things. Like I was talking to Ricky about my neighbor, and I was talking to him with a Canadian soldier on Remembrance Day, and we're talking about getting old, right? So. They're in their 40s. They're just a bunch of young spring chickens. I said, you guys, just wait till I said, it starts around 38 to 40. You start losing your eyesight a bit. But from 46 to 48, you're going to need glasses. And from 48 to 52, you're like, you age like 10 years. Like, you're going to be sore. You're going to be fucked up. You're going to be, whatever. And like I told Rick, I said, and you know that like the piss and vinegar that I always have, like, and it's slowing me down. So it's like, you imagine the average 52-year-old, like, yeah, they must be freaking screwed. You know what I mean? Especially, being like 80 pounds overweight or 100 pounds overweight. I'm a little overweight I think I'm maybe about 10 pounds overweight. But in the wintertime, that's okay because you need a little bit of husk and whatever. But I do kind of do intermittent fasting. I don't eat breakfast typically, unless I'm working. I'll grab like a meat stick and a chocolate bar. Okay, today I had a chocolate bar. I'll be good till supper time. I'll eat a big supper. That's good. I don't have midnight snacks. Very rarely. Although I did get some free ice cream from a client the other day from the leftover from Thanksgiving. She goes, like, there's literally 2 scoops out of it and I'll never eat it. And I said, well, my nephew will love it. So I had some. My sister-in-law had some. My nephew had some. I don't know if my brother and my dad had any, but you snooze, you lose. So it was some vanilla ice cream. So I had like, past 2 nights, I had 2 bowls of that after supper. But that's it, right? The biggest thing for me is the pop. I cut out the pop. I'm gonna go like drop like in 6 months. I'll drop probably down to like 150, 160. What happened when I started working out, which I got to start working out again. Uh, I have to watch my joints when I'm working out, right? So I can't do the powerlifting and so it's just my joints are not what they used to be, and it's just it's just wear and tear in the body, right? That's why I'm not going to do the roofs and stuff this year. It's like, yes, I need the money, but I'm just like for December, I'm at about $900 that I made so far this month. Not bad, not great, but not bad. For December. Um, but like for example, I work out with less weights. Like I got like 20 pounds on the dumbbells, and I might do 60 on squats or whatever. That's it. Girl weights. Little girly weights. Can I do like 250 pounds on my? I'm like an ox. I can. There's no weight load that I can't take. Right. I think I did 345 the last time the weight room was open. On my deadlifts were 345. And and I felt I could do more. Now when the new weight room opens up, I'm gonna go there more for a social, like go there and like I've been like when I was in the weight room, the $5 gym. You guys remember the $5 gym stuff? You saw me walking around with 200 pounds. You know what I mean, doing the farmer's walk and stuff like that. And I'm one of those people that I was trying to get other people to go to the gym. I just couldn't get anybody to go, right? And I get it. People are busy, whatever. But it's like I didn't do it for the aesthetic. I did it more for the health, right? I'm more of an athletic person than I'll never eat like 25 eggs in a day to lift weights. I'm not that guy. But I bulk up. I don't bulk up, but my muscles get really tough really quick. Like a lot of people, like they don't realize until like I don't look like much, right? Like I just look like an average man. But then they, like I have women tell me this all the time. Like they'll touch me, like, oh, jeez, it's like a rock. I'm not even flexing, and they're like, it's like there's one girl. She used to just love my shoulders. She just loved like, oh, these shoulders, They're like two stones. It's like, they're like, you're so tense. I'm like, no, I'm completely relaxed. It's like just, I work. That's what working men get. They get like solid muscle. It's not thick muscle, but it's like solid muscle. Now, as you get older, you get muscular dystrophy where you start to deteriorate, right? So you need to boost your testosterone. Sugar lowers your testosterone. That's another reason why I get rid of it. But sugar also gives you anxiety. Sugar gives you restlessness, but it also drains you. So what happens is the sugar overwhelms your digestive system, which tires you out. But then your adrenaline kicks in. That's why you feel so weird with it, right? So that's why when you don't have as much sugar that day, you're way calmer. Like I only drink really two things: water and Pepsi. That's it, right? If I don't drink any Pepsi for like a week, my mind is so clear, my brain is so clear, and if I just eliminate sugar altogether that week, like it's like I'm in a Zen mode. It's just like, I can see the most. Like there could be a charging rhinoceros coming at me, and I'd be like, "Oh, well, that's interesting. I better just step out of the way." Like I'll be like so calm, you know what I mean? Like it's to the point ridiculous. But then when I do something, it's full on energy. It's just like, and pure energy, and it's a different type of energy than a sugar rush energy, right? So yeah, I am disciplining myself slowly. Like I say, I'm gonna transition from Pepsi to tea. Um, so it'll be tea and water. I'll be basically like living like a pioneer, tea and water. And I gotta stock up on a bunch of good tea though. Like I want to get like a year's supply of tea, so buy like 5 boxes, like one tea a day or something. But I want to get like a little warming pad. One thing I hate about tea, I hate this with a passion. Steaming kettle, barely. You first sip your tea, super hot. Put the tea down for 4.28 seconds. Ice cold. Like what happened to lukewarm? Stay lukewarm for like at least 15 minutes so I could drink the damn thing, right? But what does it do with my tea? Mighty good tea there, chops. You guys are like that. I can get all snobby on you and stuff like that. Yeah, it'll do you some good. Do you some good. But anyway, yeah. So like, this is what I got planned for the new year. While I'm doing that, like for example, I got to finish that painting. Those other 3 paintings as a set. I'd like to get those finished this season, and we'll see. It's just I'm gonna have to, like coming down here is like going to school. You're gonna have to have like one period for this, one period for that, one period, you know. But it is one of those things that I am going to have to sort out my days because I have so many things that I do that I get kind of behind. Like writing songs is kind of one of those things. Like, okay, I'm gonna do a whole song in a day. I don't do that anymore. I can, but it's gonna be a shitty song, right? Even if the concept's great. No, I'm going with the Da Vinci mindset of, or the Michelangelo mindset of, when the Pope asked him when he was going to be done the 16th chapel, and it's like, well, it's finished when it's finished. That's the answer you should have on just really get, like I say, hone the art of the craft. Really get into it. Really enjoy it. Less is more. Less is more. It's one of those things that when you do put and again, you're only going to live so long. You're only going to have so much free time. So when you put your time into something, try to get more out of that something rather than. And I understand where the mindset comes from. And again, I guess from a kid to now, I've realized like the transition in human beings, going from honing the art of the craft, where I'm going to grow up and I'm going to be this. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to get an education in this, and then I'm going to go to college, and then I'm going to go to apprenticeship, and I'm going to apprenticeship for a decade, and then I'm going to open my own business, and I'm going to do this, and it's just this one thing. You just master this one thing beyond belief, right? People don't do that anymore. Why? Because there's a paralysis of choice on everything you do. On everything you do. You get into a point where it's like you start this project, but then you're into 8 other projects. Guilty. Guilty. But the thing is that if you're going to do that, you don't have to give up on all your other projects. You just have to devote a little bit of time. You want to read 3 books at once? That's great. You could spend all day reading the 3 books and not get anything else done, right? Or you want to make videos all day? That's great. Then you won't be able to read the 3 books, right? Or do your music. Or you could say, I'll do 2 hours of videos. That's it. An hour, 2 hours for music, or an hour, half an hour, whatever, and then half an hour to an hour on books, and spend 20 minutes cleaning up, or whatever, half an hour working on my tools. Whatever it's going to be, sorting out tools. I got to get some of these toolboxes out of the damn house because I'm tripping over everything. But you get the idea. You can do these things. And like I said, the first little while down here is going to be a lot of chaos just because of the setting everything up. What am I going to keep? What am I going to get rid of? Like there's things that I kept from when my brother moved out, right? And my sister-in-law and my nephew moved out. There's things that I kept that I was like, oh, well, I could probably use this. I could probably use that. And then I got boxes over there, and it's like, okay, those boxes, when they're full, they're going to go to the hall. Hopefully, starting next week, because if I get rid of those 4 boxes or 5 boxes of stuff, that's 4 or 5 boxes of stuff out of the house, right? That I just no longer have to deal with, no longer have to worry about, right? And then I can put another 4 or 5 boxes there, and when you wouldn't think there'd be that much stuff to get rid of, but it's like, like the stuff that I'm getting rid of now, a lot of it is mine, stuff that I've had for years. And the only reason why I'm looking at it now is because I've moved it, right? Otherwise, it just sat there in the corner in boxes. I'm like, well, if it's sitting in boxes anyway, you might as well just get rid of it. Like, for example, my knife collection. That is something I'd sell off because I don't have a lot of knives, but I got a lot of nice knives. And I'm one of those guys that I like. I want to buy a lot of knives because I like knives. And I do use most of my knives. I have my trapping knives. I've got some really phenomenal knives, right? But it's like, okay, well, how many phenomenal knives do you need? I could end up like my buddy Sean. You guys probably remember him on the channel a few times. Hang on, gotta go reload the Pepsi. Now that I've drank that whole half finger of whiskey or Crown Royal. What is yeah, that's whiskey. Crown Royal whiskey. Yeah, it's a whiskey. It's not rum. It's a whiskey. Yeah, it's a whiskey. If I'm wrong, you guys will correct me. I'm sure. It shows how much I drink, right? That's my dad's favorite is Crown Royal. But anyway, what I was saying was like, what was I saying? Like getting rid of the stuff as you go through it. Like each time, it's just once it's gone, and you're not dealing with it ever again, right? And the thing is that with my knife collection, it's kind of one of those things that it's small enough that it all fits in one little box. But my buddy Sean had like 3 totes full of knives, and he gave me some. He gave my brother some. He sold some, and he's constantly buying new knives, right? he's like my knife snob friend, right? And we've traded back and forth for stuff and what have you. But it just gets to the point of, okay, well, what are you going to do with all these things? Like one knife I'm really enjoying. The chickens don't like it, but my SOG seal pup, that thing is a freaking razor. That is such a great little knife for slaughtering chickens. I mean, I know how gory, right? But I'm telling you, it works. Trapping knife, my trusty Binky the K-bar. That knife has been so good. It's been through so much. But I want to get a couple more K-bars. I've got three of them. I got one just in a box as a collector, your classic K-bar. And then I want to get the Space Force one, and I want to get the olive drab green one. And maybe the dagger. I don't know. I know K-bars are not, they're an older design. I get that. But they're phenomenal. They're great. My SOG, what do you call it? My SOG, what the hell's the name of the I got a SOG Seal Pup and a SOG Creed. And the SOG Creed is like the craziest fighting knife ever. It's the most expensive knife I've ever bought. And it is a phenomenal knife. And I love the shape of it. It's like it's a Bowie style knife, but it's a crazy knife. It's a crazy knife. It's just I want to use it more than I've used it, but it's just like it's such a nice knife, and those knives now, if they're still making them, and they went up in price like you wouldn't believe. You know, just a regular buck knife. I've always wanted one of those. I've just never gone around to get one. And it just because they're nice, just because it's shiny. Like I don't really need these. So like, and then I've got knives like from my grandfather. I've got knives from other relatives, no longer with us. I got knives that were given to me as a kid. Like it's like the keepsake angle of it versus the utility of it. And then I got my big ass SP10 Marine Raider, that Ontario knife. That thing is crazy. That thing has butchered a lot of. It's been a good trapping knife for sure. And then I've got my SOG Tomahawk, which I just absolutely love, and a shit ton of throwing knives, right? So at some point, I'm going to probably sell that stuff and and then I'll get others. But weapons are things that I like to hang on to. Like I want to get more swords. I want to get a good rapier. I want to get a couple of good katanas. I definitely want a spadone. Why? Because sometimes the place is just too crowded. You get the spadone, big freaking greatsword. The spadone, the Italian spadone. There's a whole bunch. You call it a greatsword. You call it whatever. Those were very interesting characters. These guys were basically paid armed guards with these gigantic swords, and they would just try to swirl them in a certain way that they were able to take on like multiple opponents at a time while protecting dignitaries. While the dignitary would just duck behind this person while they're walking, twirling this gigantic sword. Some of them were flamberges as well. Like it's really cool, really cool. So I guess that's all the Friday chat we're going to do for today. I guess I'm babbling now. I'll do a little bit more of a chat on something else, and then I'm going to get my ass busy. I'm going to start with my song. Maybe clean up in here a bit, go through more stuff to get rid of, and go from there. Yeah, there we go. and then read my big pile of books. That's so big, that one. There we go.